दोबारा सुना है Good. Good morning, United Kingdom. Good morning, and welcome to everybody this morning on the Drive Time live session with Lakhi Singh, the property fixer. Right. The saying of the weekend is still out for discussion, but I assume it is who you are now and what you will become after hard work, but I will find out and we'll do a confirmation of that. But the topic of today is the effect of COVID-19 on the property market in 2021. As it stands, that's probably good news, but we will have a discussion with the expert, Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, and we'll ask him the question. And I'm sure a lot of people out there know already that there is a genuine boom in the housing market in United Kingdom. But nevertheless, we'll ask the expert. The topic, the difference between who you are now and what you'll become after hard work. I think that is what the topic is. We'll find out. Let's suppose it is that topic. That's right. The quote, it's not the quote, it's a quote of the weekend. That's right. So let's suppose it's what I've said. Well, what's the difference between you now and after hard work? That's generally what we're saying. Well, I think any bit of hard work results in a change. And sometimes people are happy to work hard, but they find it difficult to work hard in other areas of their personal life. So just like working hard in academia or in your job, the result will be the actual percentages you get. There's no hidden rule on that. You work hard in your academics, should normally get better results. And I say better because even the results are reflective of an individual's aptitude. Not everybody is designed to study. Some people are very practical in their life. I mean, I am one to say that of all the people I've met, most people who are very practical normally aren't very academic. And those people who are very academic aren't very practical, especially in relationship management, in dealing with other people. They find it very difficult. But I think everything is about learning and how much hard work you want to put into learning about relationships, learning about people's habits, learning about yourself, your own good habits and your own bad habits. I've got a very dear close friend who I would say is like a little angel on the planet. That's it. I'm gonna call it a little angel probably. And my advice was that trying to be an angel on the planet is going to get you into lots of trouble. Why? Because the planet is not designed for angels. It's designed for people, and people have nuances. They have all those different feelings: envy, greed, lust, jealousy. They have all those different feelings, and it is important to know that you understand how to manage those different feelings. And if you don't know how to manage those feelings, people like that normally end up getting the bad end of everybody's stick. So I'm just going to check back with the quote for the weekend, make sure it's real, and then we'll continue the conversation. Good morning, and we're back. Sorry about that. I've just checked. We're still in a doubt about the saying for the weekend. It seems to be a bit of a broken phrase. But good morning, Lakhi Singh, the property fixer. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning. How are we doing?
Yes. You tell us how you were. We've started, and we've been anxiously waiting for you in excitement, really. Tell us, sir. COVID-19, how has it affected the property market in 2021? I think the news, generally the news out there is, the property market's a bit on the up, isn't it? Like booming, heaving. Is that right?
Yeah, there was a news article which came out, I think, a couple of days ago in the Metro that said that property prices had gone up 10% compared to last year, this time last year.
Wow, 10%, yes. And?
So I think I've actually got the article here. It said, I think it was about 2 days ago, property boom sees average prices up by 5,000 in a month. House prices growth recorded a bounce back in August as the average property value leapt by nearly 5,000 in a month across the UK. The average house price in August was 248,857, 11% higher than a year earlier. Nationwide Building Society said 4,628 higher than in July, when it stood at 244,229. So there we go. Right, straight from the Metro. A place of great information.
Yes, excelente. So what do you feel though generally? I mean, a lot of these stats sometimes aren't reflective of what really is happening on the ground. They're all good for stats, for the sake of stats. And sometimes they have a tendency of giving a reflection of numbers that are not real, because a lot of these numbers, especially house price numbers, come from the southeast, from London, from Greater London, which, if you look at it, includes houses that are in the square mile where you are, Lakhi Singh, properties that are worth around 5 million, 6 million. So, I mean, when you put that into the equation, doesn't it distort the equation a bit?
I think it's quite the opposite this time, because from what I've understood of some of the articles I've been reading over the last year and a half during the lockdown, they're saying that there's been a decrease in the number of properties sold in London because a lot of people prefer to be moving out into places more spacious with a larger garden. And a lot of people that own international properties have been stuck abroad. There's a quite a large proportion of people, especially in the very center, in the heart of London, which are owned by foreign companies or foreign individuals. So I think the London market is only beginning to pick up in the last few months. It's not been as buoyant, I don't think.
Apologies for me. I was trying to, right. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is hard work. Is that right? Excellente. So that's the saying for the weekend. Yes? Lakhi Singh? Lakhi Singh?
Yeah.
So the difference between who you are and who you want to be is hard work. So my question to you is, can this apply to you in your daily life? We're not talking about business first. Let's talk about your personal life, your personal relationships and management. The difference between who you are now, Lakhi, and who you want to be is hard work. Do you agree you have to do hard work when it comes to your personal life?
I think you've got to do hard work in every aspect of your life, really, because
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be hard. I think it's just a question of perspective. So if you've got the perspective to understand relationships, it's just knowing how to be effective in their management. So if you decide to work hard at a relationship, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make the relationship work. It just means that in fact, that might be the wrong way. You're working hard in a relationship.
Excellent. Lakhi Singh, you've astounded me. You have surprised me. You have, let me try and find a word that's new. You have bedidded me. That's a new word. I don't know if it means anything. In sense, that's a very deep understanding of this. Because you're right, in relationships, especially when it comes to husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, father, son, son and mother, husband, wife, mother, child. In these relationships, I think you're right. It has to be natural. You can't be working hard. Because if you're working hard, it's a bit like being someone who is forever working hard. Because in a relationship that's that close, it doesn't make sense that you have to work hard. That means there's something missing in the relationship. Is that what you're saying, Lakhi? Is that a right definition or explanation of what you said?
Yeah, I think by definition, a relationship needs to be positive, and you shouldn't really have to work hard. But there is another element to working hard, which means that if you're effective in certain relationships, you may have to work hard, because maybe with son-father relationship, sometimes father has high expectations, want you to be an accountant, and to try and meet up.
Did your dad want you to be an accountant, Lakhi?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
Or he still does, actually. He probably has an expectation to be in a 9-to-5 job or something that's more stable. And his
that's That's a bit of a funny statement, isn't it? Like, you're a successful business and property fixer, you play in millions, you're well established, you've got a decent lifestyle, you're fairly affluent. You try to stay very humble about it, and yet your father thinks that you should get a real job. How does that work? Is it a perception he's got? He's got a perception about you that being a businessman is not a real job, it's a side job. Does he look at you through his own prism? Or is it an elder sibling or someone?
My parents are both from working class backgrounds, and all they know is hard work, working 9 to 5 or working long hours. And so my father, excuse me, got a bit of a sore throat. So my father has actually, we used to do very long hours at work, 7 days a week, almost something like 65, 70 hours a week. To basically, I think he sort of enjoyed the hard work, but at the same time, it did actually bring a lot of prosperity to the family. So they're not used to anybody working odd hours or working in a business way, because they don't. When they see me at odd times, because I'm not sort of always around, because I'm either on a phone call or in meetings or in central London, and they find that quite unusual, I think, because my brother is actually an accountant, so I think I'm compared to him, and he's got a lot more, let's just say, evening and weekend time, which I don't have quite in the same way.
You don't have quite in the same way, but isn't that somewhat? Is that from their perspective, or is that from your perspective?
Well, I tend to keep my weekends and evenings busy with client calls or meetings or socializing.
So you're a demanded person. I mean, the brother is probably not really a demanded person. He's not very, he's not circulated the way you are. People need you. They need your time. They need your solutions. That's why you're the property fixer. Does that? I don't think that probably applies to him. Is that right?
That's right. I think different aspects of what we do.
Okay, so I mean, we went into detail there, but it was just to give an example to everyone listening that, like, even people who are famous, who are affluent, who are well-to-do, even they have their quirks, which is proving the point, Lakhi. Even though your father wants you to be a 9-to-5er, you're not, and even though he disapproves of it, he probably thinks that's not a real job. Even though you're making millions, it's where the hard work in the relationship applies. If you start working hard in that relationship, you probably won't get anywhere, because he's got his own mindset about what he thinks is the real job. Is that right? And this is your point proven, that in relationships, if you end up working hard, it's probably unhealthy. Is that right?
That's right. I think you've got to see relationships for what they are. And I think you've got to maintain your own identity to ensure that you've got a balance between what you need to get done and to keep your sanity. And then to also be effective in managing other people around you who may not have the same mindset or understanding of.
Wow. What deep advice coming from Mr. Lakhi Singh. You're actually a bit of a psychologist, aren't you? A bit of a relationship guru. I mean, that's very deep. So a bit of advice there for everyone. Be yourself, be who you are. And that's probably the right way to treat your relationships. If you end up working hard in relationships, those relationships are most normally unhealthy. Is that right, sir? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think having clarity over really what your boundaries are, your objectives, what your identity is important. Then that also demands respect as well.
Wow, very deep, sir. For everyone who didn't know you before this, they know of you as being the property fixer. Now they know you're a bit of a human relationship manager. Excellent relationship management and a bit of a counselor, I think. Is that right, sir?
Well, I don't really do much relationship counseling. I suppose as being the property fixer, sometimes the supply chain extends beyond property, business, finance, legals to helping people just maintain their health or manage difficult relationships.
Wow. Okay, we're going to bounce back to the topic for today, and that is COVID-19 effect. So are you saying 21 is a very buoyant market? Is this a bounce back in the property market after the virus? Is it an effect of people gagging to do something and all of a sudden they come into the market unlocked from the lockdown, being able to do something, at least go out, do valuations, look at properties, wheeling, dealing, the banks are switched on, a lot of bridging finance out there, and all of a sudden people taking advantage of it, and it's probably creating this little rush of demand. Is that the reason, Lakhi, or is this something which is more stable beyond 21?
Well, there's quite a few different schools of thought. I think one school of thought at the moment is that, and the major one I think is that furlough is going to end in September. The stamp duty sort of reduction, I think that's already stopped now. And a lot of the eviction type rules that were in place, I think are, at least in England, are now have actually allowed the courts to open up again. I think Wales, Scotland are a bit different. They may take a bit longer. So I think there's going to be a lot of evictions and the property problems sort of now coming onto the market in terms of people having to let go of their properties, which or they're going to come to a head now because they haven't had a chance to deal with all the issues around income with the COVID-19.
Yeah.
So I think because furlough's ending, bounce backs need to start getting paid back. And there's going to be quite a few people that have got not enough income coming in after furlough, or the employers may not be able to afford to keep them. Then that's going to come to a head. So I think by February, March time, you're going to see a lot of either a break evening out or let's just say a correction or quite a major potential crash in the property market, because it's not sustainable the way it is at the moment.
So are you saying in 22 February there's going to be...
Sorry, 22, yeah.
22. Well, look, there is a rumor that the American market is due for a crash second quarter. So we can expect interest rates to be going up in the second quarter. Is that right? Is that correct in your knowledge?
Yeah, I think they also say that when America sneezes, England normally catches, or UK normally catches a cold.
Well, the world catches a cold. I think the way they've cleverly packaged that saying is the world catches a cold. It's not England, it's the whole world, isn't it? everybody that's
Oh,
dealing in the dollar, everybody's got the dollar underlying value somewhere. They're trading in dollars or they're buying and they've got assets and currency reserves in dollars. I think everybody gets affected. Yeah.
that's correct. Yeah.
Excelente. Right. So going back to the topic of today, the difference between us now, anyone now, and what they can become is hard work. Let's switch over from personal relationships, because we know in personal relationships, to some degree, hard work is actually quite a negative thing. So in personal relationships, what the lesson I'm drawing from what you said is that personal relationships, it has to be personal, it has to be natural. The more natural a relationship, the better it is. Is that right, Lakhi?
That's right. Yeah.
Excelente. So if I was to get on with a baboon in a zoo, I'd probably be better off having a relationship with a monkey than worrying about having a relationship with a person.
Well, entirely your choice. I think you're taking relationships to a different level.
Thank you so much.
But it could
Right. So
happen.
let's flip over. Let's flip over to the business world. Does this statement hold fast in the business world? The difference between you now and the new person is the difference of the hard work. Can that relate to business? Is that more in tune with business, that hard work does change things in business for you? Is that right?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to definition, because there are better definitions than just hard work. So I think we've had this discussion in the past. It's about, it may be you work hard, but you're disorganized. It may be that you work hard, but you are not turning up for the most important bits of work in your business. It may be that you're working hard, but you're not organized. It may be where you're working hard, but you're not focusing on the most strategic things, which are the simple things, but you're not seeing the wood for the trees in your business. So yeah, I think hard work has a place in business, but I think a combination of hard work, strategic thinking, and taking action in a systematic, organized way, and then be able to review things and then improve them, and then having the right team around you that's effective. All other components that I think need to be added to the pot to make that all amazing cake. So making a cake, working hard, making lots of cakes, but with the right ingredients, the right team, the right sort of test to see if it actually tastes nice and anybody would ever want to buy it. You're not really going to succeed just with hard work. Hard work is actually quite a negative word in some ways, because working hard doesn't always pay, but working smart what pays. Yeah.
Okay. So right. So we've got a new word that's come out of there: working hard and working smart. Now, does a person who works smart work hard, or is it just the manner in which they work? So they're working hard, but they are getting more results than a person who works hard but not smart. Is that what it is? Is smart work?
That's exactly what it is. I think to have the ability to call it understand processes, understand what you need to get done, understanding the best way of getting something done, as opposed to doing something, is a balance. So there isn't really, I mean, because I've worked in lots of large projects in large companies, sometimes it's better to just take action and just get a project done rather than too much research and try to be too smart
Agreed.
about it.
Yes.
Because it's almost like trying to, making a cup of tea. You don't need to work hard. It's just easy, yeah. But some people, or like hanging up a picture, let's just say a big painting in a hallway. I've actually had a mirror that I needed to put up in my hallway once in my house about 20 years ago, and I asked a friend to do it because he looked very smart type of guy that he'd do a good job of it. But I can't believe it. He actually spent about 4 hours just trying to measure it all out and getting the hook put on the back, and then took him about 4 hours to decide where he wants to drill the hole. And then, I mean, that's a job that I would have probably done in about 2 minutes.
It
I would have
ended
just
up
literally
being a
know where to put
4-hour
it, drill the
task.
hole. Hey?
So it ended up being a 4. Okay, so there comes then the level of the work, then, isn't it? Each to their own. I mean, for him, putting a mirror up probably involved getting the floor plan, getting the electrical wiring plan, so he was afraid of putting a nail or a screw through the wall where there's electric wires coming through or something. So, and you would work off intuition. And you say, bang, 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 bang. Let's worry about if I put a nail through the pipe, then we can worry about the second bit of it. He probably wanted to make sure that the nail was in a place that didn't have any wiring or piping. So I think it's perception, isn't it, Lucky? And I agree with the point. There is a certain level of understanding where things have to be done simply. Because the what's it now? The consequence of doing that in time is more important than the planning. Is that the point you're trying to make, Lucky? At certain times, you got people who become pedantic and they don't realize that the actual act of implementation is more important because it's got priority in completion rather than planning, and rather than the planning bit. And you need to do that from experience, maybe, and everybody's got their own level of experience. Is that the point you're making?
I think that that is the point. I mean, the reason I was quite good at in the workplace, in large organizations, was that I was actually quite a hard worker, but I used to sort of understand the dynamics of really how organizations worked, how they wanted to work smart. So I used to sort of combine the smart with the hard work in a way that always got things done about 10 times quicker than anybody else could. And because what took 6 months to recruit 10 people into the company, I used to recruit in about 2 weeks, because
Wow.
I'd actually work out how to take action and bypass all the red tape in the organization. Now, taking that sort of action, people sort of thought that there was something special about what I could do. So
Which
I
there
got,
is, because you're the property fixer, aren't you? I mean, you are still in that zone where you have this knack of being special. I don't mean like special children special. I mean more special in the fact that you are the property fixer. You happen to bring in solutions where people who are quite long in the tooth can't figure out what to do. Isn't that why you are the property fixer? You are
yeah,
special.
I think because of my corporate background and my experience in property for many years, and also now 15 years in helping people, yeah, it's a bit second nature now. It's almost like knowing things without sort of knowing them. I didn't realize I knew that or knew that, but
So
the reality has
the
become
known,
second nature now.
it's a bit like the known knowns and the unknown knowns. Is that right?
That sort of thing, yeah.
Uh, So are you a believer of hard work then, or smart work?
I think my natural tendency, because Punjabi people, we're farmers. I think we generally are very hard workers, um, which is sort of, and also we're into sort of helping people as part of the, you could sort of say, the culture of Punjabis. You know, helping others. You know, doing good
Mm,
things.
mm,
You know, so I think by nature, I think I'm hardworking. But the sort of environment, or the type of people I work with, um, they're very strategic. So I've got a very good balance between hard work and being strategic. So I know what my strengths and weaknesses are. So I try not to work hard. I try to work smart. So
excellent.
I try to do. I try not to get into the natural inclination of working hard. But sometimes it is something that's because it becomes naturally, it's quite easy to fall into the trap of just working hard sometimes.
Do you
Because
find you run ahead and leave everybody behind? Are you sometimes finding that you have to carry the last man through the line?
not not really, no, because I think I do actually work ahead on the odd occasion, but I know that's not really a healthy thing to do, because it just means it's based upon my own personal ego, my personal preference of work, which
Mm,
is not necessarily positive for actually working in a team or an environment where, you know, you could be getting 10 times more results by doing a lot less. And if you're working in a team, if you're part of the team, then the idea is to try and get 10 times results. And although in an organization, people may not realize you appreciate that, but I do.
well, I mean, look, the fact that you have that much, you have that flexibility in you, I think, or that awareness in you, being that you're the property fixer, being that you're the man who knows uh, all the movers and the shakers, and you know what's happening in the square mile of London, the center of the financial universe, I would say. Is that right? Yet you have that ability into you, in your character, to slow down and wait for the last man to carry him through over the line. A bit like that. You're a bit like saving Private Ryan without the uniforms and the bullets, uh, but with the same intention. Do you think you're a bit of what's the gentleman's name? What's his name?
Forrest Gump.
No, Forrest Gump was the actor. What was his name? What was the actor's name?
Oh, Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Do you think you're a bit of a Tom Hanks of the property world?
Um, Up to a point. I mean, I suppose I have a natural tendency to, like I said, it's a cultural thing. Being Punjabi, Sikh, we do actually. I'm not sure. There's a quite a well-known sort of to call it a sevadar. They call it sort of like helper in the Sikh, who was actually Sikh guy in
A
the
Sikh
wars.
guy.
He was a Sikh gentleman
Mm,
from, I think, about 300 years ago. His name is
mm-hmm.
Bhai Kanhaiya, and during the sort of Arab and Indian wars between the Sikhs and the rulers of Persia,
The Mughals, you mean?
he would actually go and actually give water not just to the dying soldiers on the Indian side or the Sikh side, he'd be giving it to both sides.
Wow.
So I think there is an element of, uh, let's just say, just helping humanity, let's say. Is probably a simple way of putting it.
Do you see yourself as a gentleman walking around with a bottle of water, providing drinks to the hedge funds and then also to the mortgagees?
I think I see myself somebody who actually wants to help at that level, but obviously it's completely it doesn't really make sense in square mile, which is it's a fast-paced environment where people have got money. They don't really need that sort of help. There are quite a lot of large hedge fund, multi-billion pound funds. They're not looking for that sort of help. So they'll probably be laughing at you if they think that you're trying to bring them water.
No, I mean, just standing
Sorry?
outside, having a bottle of water, or a bit of, sprinkling some water on a poor hedge fund manager who's probably just thirsty after making a few million for the pleasure of it. I mean, that's probably not what you'd be doing. Isn't that what they call Jaddi Kala?
Chardi Kala means to stay in good spirits. Yeah, but if somebody's had a win and they've done well, yeah, I'd be happy to give them some water. That's congratulations.
Yeah.
Just out of
so you've got this. I mean, you've got the same essence in you of wanting to serve humanity. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that goes without saying. You can it's part of Sikhi. We want to help as many people as we can, and doesn't really. So you have different types of help as well. There's help that you can give by advising. There's help you can give that's monetary, and there's help that you can give with your time. So all of them are considered to be positive as part of the faith.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in the overall picture, when we talk about hard work, I mean, hard work itself, in any form, whether it is relationships, hard work in your work, in your business, hard work itself as a word has a positive impact, doesn't it? I mean, I understand sometimes hard work can be misdirected, and I agree that hard work without planning can leave you out of pocket or possibly in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I'm just saying, generally, the word hard work, the word itself, is it a positive word, Lakhi, for everyone to take as a mentor or a mentor for themselves to apply across?
Well, I suppose the word hard work needs to be put into context before you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So hard work could also be counterproductive, because if you're just working hard, then you might be just running yourself into the ground.
Yeah.
So if you've got if you're basically got a quite stressful job, let's just say you're a policeman and you're dealing with high profile murder scenes or something,
Mm-hmm.
doing that sort of work and having to see a lot of that thing and being on it, long hours, that could be mentally stressful.
Agreed.
So I think it all depends on the context. I think so hard work in the right context, I would say, yeah, it's the perfect way of saying, yeah, hard work is good in the right context.
Yeah.
But in the wrong context, actually, it could lead to the downfall of an individual if they're not applying it in the right way. Yeah.
Wow, that's quite a heavy statement, isn't it, Lakhi? The downfall of a person. Hard work. Okay, let's apply it in context of what I know. Hard work to a person could be their downfall. Let's apply it to a person who's working so hard that they're not taking time out for their health. That is one context, isn't it, Lakhi, where your health could get the better of you, even though you're working hard and you're doing perfectly well. You're clocking the six figures. You're, in the league, in the big leagues. But really, is it correct that you work so hard that you forget about your health? Isn't then the issue having a balanced attitude towards hard work? Isn't that the way to do it then?
Yeah, I think a balanced attitude towards hard work is probably just the right way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
So, so if you worked hard on your health and your well-being and your connection to God,
Mm-hmm.
that's always a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, let's just say, if you're, I'd say working effectively is probably like a better word rather than working hard. Yeah.
Working effectively.
Yeah. So you're effective in what you're doing. That means that you're making a difference. If you're not effective, then working hard actually probably be counterproductive. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that really drills down into the purpose of hard work, isn't it? Is to make sure that you are correct or complete in what you're doing. That goes to the intent of hard work. If hard work is for the sake of hard work, then it doesn't really have any purpose. If hard work is for, as you said, for clear um, direction in something, or to ensure that there is action in what you're doing, then I think it makes sense. So, how do you get everybody up to your level and standard then? If you're working hard and you're, what was the word you used just before?
Effective.
You're effective, that's right, and you're effective. How do you see that effect rub off on the people around you? You're running an office in Mayfair, so I assume you've got staff and people who work for you. How do you ensure that they're up to your standards? They're coming in same time, or if not the same time, at the time that they should come in, and they're working on the tee, on the actual work, with the speed and efficiency at your caliber. How do you ensure that? How do you get that effectiveness?
I think one thing's for sure is getting in before them and finishing after them. I think that's very important. And being able to also be there to sort of understand what's going on and keep an eye on things. And also, managing the key components of the work that are going to be most effective in terms of getting the results. And I think that combination is actually quite key in terms of getting them motivated and getting them to get work over the line. If you're not doing those sort of things, then inevitably it leads to sort of workplace working and it's almost without the petrol in the engine.
But I mean, surely with someone of your caliber, your success, you can probably be, could afford to take it easy a bit, come in when you want, drive around your Maybank, just like, what's his name, Papadopoulos, that gentleman from Dragon's Den. He drives around in his Maybach all day, making decisions on the telephone and visiting his stores. The Ryman gentleman, what was his name?
Theo Pastidios.
Theo, that's right. Mr. Theo. You could be,
Theo.
You could be, why wouldn't you want to take that attitude?
Yeah, I think once you hit a certain amount of results plus of couple of 100 million. Yeah, I think that's you're not going to be able to go into one workplace. You're going to have to go into about 50 workplaces to show them that you're around and you're got an eye on the ball, or you're leading the company, or motivating it, or motivating the directors of the various organizations that you own. So yeah, that's a sort of a different level.
Okay, so you're not you don't perceive yourself to be driving around in a Maybach, checking properties or offices and stuff.
I haven't got that many offices to check at the moment. Just 2 offices.
Okay, so but with your level of success and work, surely people will say, look, he's there already. He's made it. He's had it. He's done it. Why does he need to go early morning? I assume that you do get early morning to your offices and you're on top of the staff. I mean, physically, I mean, in terms of on top of their work.
I try and be there early as much as I can. I've got to juggle quite a few different things at the moment, so I do get in the majority of the time early, but it's not always the case that I do, actually, to be honest. But I understand the principle why it's critical, actually, to a business.
Well, as long as you understand the theory, I mean, we don't necessarily need to practice it. Understanding the theory is important, then at least you can answer questions on it. So, moving on, what do you think is going to be the last 2 quarters of this year, 21, 22? Is there going to be some major, turmoil in the market? Are the waters going to be choppy?
Well, I sort of mentioned this earlier. I think there's going to be quite a lot of turbulence because of the interest rates are likely to go up.
You mean?
Sorry?
Is it like a sea storm? Is it like it's going to be turbulence, like an airplane?
I think it's going to get quite choppy, wishy-washy, runny.
So it's going to get turbulent. It's going to get wishy-washy, and it's going to become runny. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I thought
that doesn't sound like the economy. That sounds like something else. That sounds like a bad curry.
Sorry, I was just talking about the curry I had last night. Okay. No, I think things are going to get quite difficult because there has been about a year and a half worth of the economy being complete standstill. You have still got the fallout for Brexit, which has actually been clouded over by this COVID-19 thing. And you have got...
Well, an interesting fact, COVID has raised in excess of 13.6 billion for the pharmaceutical companies. Can you imagine all these pharmaceutical, the Axinova and the Zeneca and the Moderna, all these companies have showed up just excess of 13.6 billion in currency on their balance sheets. Every time they switch on a red zone or a new variant, they're triggering about 2 to 3 billion each in revenue. Is that a bit of a indicator of somebody's intent to keep this COVID alive?
Yeah, I think that's probably positive about the pharma intention, because ultimately, if they're providing a service to try and get people vaccinated, to try and help people, then you need to consider both ways, which is that obviously they can make money, but at the same time they're providing a service.
Okay, sir, the last minute, can you round up? We'll have to say goodbye to you for this week and we'll come back. Well, last few words about 21 and the property market. Do you see it rising over the 10% mark, or is it going to flatten out? Or is it going to be
I think there's going to be a fall, maybe about 30 to 40%, especially around the UK. London, maybe 20%, 25% by about February, March, but 2022. I think also interest rates are likely to go up because we've had them quite low for a long time. And I think that's it. I think let's keep it simple.
Okay, there you have it. Property Fixer, Lakhi Singh, Drive Time Live. As usual, you've heard him first here. Don't say we don't tell you. Don't tell we don't tell you. Don't say we don't inform you. Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable advice. And again, the same for the weekend. The difference between yourself now and yourself then is hard work. And the topic for today was the property market and its effect since COVID-19 for 2021. Take care, sir.
We've still got 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
On GMT. That makes sense. Okay, sir, but I think on our clock, is it clear? Yes, on our clock, sir, it's completed. So we're good. We say big goodbye to you, sir, and we will speak to you next week on the Drive Time Live with Lakhi Singh, the Property Fixer. As always, take care, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.